Hi, Derek.
Hello?
Derek,
How are you?
it's Michael Persh calling from Australia, mate. How you doing?
I'm fine, mate. How are you?
I'm good. It's great to finally catch up with you.
Yes, it is. I'm glad to talk to you also. Sorry if I get interrupted. I'm on dad patrol right now, and I got the two little ones, so we could try to do the interview, but I might have to stop here and again.
That's right. We can edit. Not a problem at all.
Sounds great. Let's get into it.
All right. It's great to say hello, mate. You are a much well-known and much loved character, even on this side of the world. So hopefully we'll see you in Australia sooner rather than later again. But you have a great new CD out, and that's only one of the reasons that gives me to say hello. And Oceana is people that know your music would I guess expect fairly high standards from you, and Oceana has delivered again in spades.
Oh, great. Well, that's good to hear. Thank you very much.
You must be very happy with the way it's turned out. Indeed, it's a great set of songs.
Thank you very much. Simon Phillips and I worked very hard on Oceana. We took a little bit different direction. It's a little bit less progressive and a little bit less metal than some of my other solo CDs. We wanted to go for more of a heavy fusion inspired by the early Jeff Beck records. And I think that we wrote songs accordingly and picked some really great guitar players that delivered some fantastic performances on the record, and we're very happy with how everything turned out.
And you have indeed got some fantastic guitar players. Some of the guys that have worked with you before, but some guys that, like Al Di Meola, for instance, a guy that we don't hear a lot about in Australia, but for so many years has just been such a fantastic musician. He is indeed.
Yes, for sure.
And he's given the, as you're saying, sort of taken the real metal feel from the tune he plays on, and it's very interesting how his style or his style of playing is sort of melted into that.
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
And I had the pleasure of having Zach Wilde on the show a little while ago, and your name popped up, and he really said that he loves working with you because you just push the boundaries with him more than anyone else does.
Wow, that's a compliment coming from Zach. Zach is the heaviest guy out there right now playing wise, and it's always a pleasure to work with Zach. He's welcome to play on my records anytime, and I think I'm very proud of the work that we've done together.
And just to drop a few other names that are playing on the album, Slash, of course, and John Sykes, who you've worked with before. John Sykes is an underappreciated guitar player, in my opinion. He is a fine guitar player.
Oh, he's fantastic. He's very well respected amongst his peers. I think that he played on that huge Whitesnake album, and when he wasn't able to do the tour, I think that a lot of the fame that he deserved didn't come to him, and I think that's why he's underappreciated. But people that know him know how great he is. Indeed,
and there is a lot of people out there that do know and love John Sykes, and I am certainly one of them. And you mentioned Simon Phillips before, and I also had the pleasure of speaking to Simon probably 18 months ago, and he again said that you bring out things in him that really no other musician does. So you really seem to have a track record, Derek, of really bringing out things in other musicians that they don't even know that's in there.
Well, I just have a interesting way of hearing it, the music, and I know what I want in my head, and everyone that plays on my records I'm fans of, and I'm aware of their discography and everything that they've played on, so I know what they're capable of doing, and I just use my imagination, and sometimes the outcome is something different than you've had that they've ever played on before, but the end result always works out. And so I found that there's certain players that I can always go to that I know it's going to be great. Like I know using Simon Phillips, Steve Lukather, those guys are always going to be able to deliver for me, you know?
Indeed, and they always do. When I knew I was trying to track you down to say hello, I was trying to remember the first time that I'd seen your name pop up, and I think it was on one of the cover CDs that Billy Sherwood put out many years ago, and I think you played on a Pink Floyd tune.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did a bunch of those tribute records in the late 90s. So many I forgot which ones I'm on.
But Billy Sherwood actually said exactly the same thing. He made so many and had totally lost track. But they're all interesting records to have such great players interpret such well-known tunes. It was a very interesting project, or a series of interesting projects.
Yeah, it's kind of blurry, but I remember doing a bunch of those records like in the late 90s, like right at the end of when I was in Dream Theater and right afterwards.
Well, Dream Theater, of course, gave you a profile that, or lifted your profile amongst folks. So, do you look back now on Dream Theater as being a great part of your career?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it helped push my boundaries as a musician and really forced me to get my playing to a certain level in order to keep up. I mean, that band, those guys are all amazing players, and it definitely gave me an international visibility that I never had prior to that. And so it definitely has opened up a lot of doors for me.
And you're obviously still friends with the guys because John plays on the new CD.
Not on the new CD. He played on my 2006 CD, but I am friends with all those guys. When I was on tour with my new band, Black Country Communion, we were on some festival dates with Dream Theater, and I talk to Mike Portnoy all the time on email, so everything is good in that department.
Well, you mentioned Black Country Communion, and we had the great pleasure of having Joe Bonamassa out in Australia earlier in the year, and I think he was blown away that the show sold out, and the audience was so over the top, so obviously blown away to have him out here. So hopefully we will see Black Country Communion come out and play for us.
God, I hope so. I would love to come down to Oz with BCC. That would be amazing.
There's been a lot was said about the first album, and I must admit I read the lineup and I thought, oh, here we go again, another supergroup. It's going to be just another one of those records. And I heard the first tune off the first album, and my jaw hit the ground, and it was like, wow, this is so good. And from what I've heard from you guys, interviews you've done from the whole band, you just loved making that record.
Yeah, both records have been a pleasure, and we have a new live DVD, BCC or Black Country Communion Live Over Europe, will be out in October of this year.
Fantastic. And the second CD is as good. I found it very interesting. A lot more writing on the second album from Glenn, but as strong as the first album. Really a wonderful follow up indeed.
Yes, yeah, I think it turned out really well.
Well, we'll fingers crossed that we'll see you guys on some stages in this part of the world sooner rather than later.
I hope so too. That would be awesome.
And I just want to, while we're on the subject of bands, I'm not sure if folks, I guess real Derek Sherinnian fans are aware of some of the things you did earlier on, but folks over in this side of the world may not be aware of the work you did, the stage work you did with Kiss and Alice Cooper, which is very interesting indeed.
Yeah, that was my first big gig was with Alice Cooper in '89, and that was like the first time I ever really went on tour on a major level and got a taste of what the business is about. And that was the first time I ever toured in Australia, was with Alice in 1990. And since then, I've come with, trying to think, I never was there with Dream Theater, but I was there with Planet X, my band. I was there with Yngwie, and then I was there with Billy Idol, I think, on 2 occasions. No, 1 time.
Oh, excellent.
I've toured in Australia 4 times with
Great.
4 different bands.
And Planet X, of course, with Virgil Donati.
That's right, Melbourne's own, Melbourne's son.
We love him. Australia's one of us. Well, Australia's most loved drummer he is, and a wild man.
Oh, he's loved here too. Virgil
He is indeed, and it's been an absolute pleasure to watch his career develop. And he is, as you say, he is one of the most respected drummers in the world, and we are very proud of him indeed.
Oh, you should be.
Well, hopefully we will see you back in Australia again, Derek. And are you touring the new record?
There's talks of doing some dates in Europe in 2012, and stay tuned at my website, DerekSherinnian.com, for any updates on that, or you can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com @DerekSherinnian.
Sweet, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to say hello, mate. And as I said, the new CD is as good, if not better, than anything I've heard from you. It's magic stuff indeed, and really, fingers crossed that we'll see Black Country Communion in Australia. I can't wait to see you guys.
Thank you so much, Michael. Stay in touch. I appreciate you spreading the word.
All the best. Can you do a quick tag for me?
Sure.
My program is called Sitting in a Bar in Adelaide.
Okay.
If you could do me something like, this is Derek Sherinnian and you're listening to Sitting in a Bar in Adelaide, or whatever pops into your head whenever you're ready.
Got it. Ready. 3, 2, 1. This is Derek Sherinnian and you're listening to Sitting in a Bar in Adelaide.
Thank you so much, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I wish you all the best, and look forward to seeing you back in Australia soon.
Thanks, Michael.
Take care. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.